They always hated me, but now I know how fake the in-laws are. I think my in-laws always hated me, and I never knew until I read her texts bullying me and my foreign country. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm married to her son almost 6 years and been together 8. She always acted like I was too extra. She would say things like, "Why are you putting makeup on? You don't need makeup. Just put your hair on a bun." She always did passive-aggressive comments towards me, and I started noticing later on. Before I had kids, she said she would combine work schedules with me so we would help each other and none of her grandkids would need to go to a daycare center. She had her parents help to raise her kids and she wanted the same for her grandkids. Well, that being said, once I had the kids, that was forgotten. She never once mentioned that conversation again. I had postpartum anxiety and felt so overwhelmed. I work flying, so I spend days at the week away from home, and when I'm home I'm always on the go. The times she offered to help out, it's when it's convenient for her, and I noticed once we had our first vacation without kids, she said it was too many days and wanted us back 3 days earlier. My husband and I started having problems and arguing about kids and life, and one time he called his sister while he was drunk after his birthday party that I'm unknowingly received over 20 people in my house with shoes around my white-colored rugs and non-stopping drinking. I did let him have a good time all day, but then he went missing in action and I had myself to wash kitchen, bath, and bedtime the 7-month-old kid, walk the dog, and talk with the few left guests on my house. Once it was over, I found him sleeping on bed. We had an argument and he went to the balcony to call someone while I was finishing cleaning the mess. And then the sill called my phone asking what is going on, is he okay? Is he breathing? I said to her he was so dramatic in calling them for a stupid argument. The sill somehow showed up at my house and tried to talk to me and asked what happened. I was overwhelmed with kids and cleaning, as my anxiety and lonely issues being here without my blood family raising babies, and I cried saying that sometimes their help wasn't enough, and she said to my face. I started yelling and asked her to get out of my house, and our relationship never been the same, it was more superficial. Last year, I think my husband started talking about our wedding issues to my mill and Sil, and that was the breaking point. His sisters started hating me for being a controlling mom and wife. I guess I'm controlling for having a sleep schedule, for not wanting my kids to eat a bunch of sugar, or for having a voice. I could feel awkwardness around them and judgment. The sister-in-law comments when we were on dinner are, "We aren't ordering salad today, I just did the marathon, I want to order pizza." I never force anyone to eat salad with me, and I usually order salad when we go out for dinner as a family. I hate this kind of passive-aggressive behavior. Well, for my son's birthday my mill went to my foreign country and was acting really out of herself. She was so quiet and not as friendly as she tries to be. It felt so fake, and I knew something was off after all this. I would ask my husband and he would say I was picking on his family. I ended up using her computer when I slept over with my kids and went over the text she exchanged with my sills. They called me names as Godzilla, she said my country had steroids, she said we were a bunch of crazy people. She said I only cared about myself and how she would never go back there. She said the party I made for my son was over the top, Kardashian style, and ridiculous. She was sending photos of my family to them while we were posing innocent to the pictures they were mocking us by text. I felt so disgusted and I cried so much, and I know I did wrong about going on her personal things, but I knew they were acting so fake to me all this time and my husband never believed. They made fun I got stolen on the train station, calling me stupid. I feel so small. I raised 2 kids in this country as a working mom helping his son, I'm not a bad person or mother. They said I only care about myself because I did my hair and makeup for my own son's birthday that I planned with my own money, and said she raised her kids to be simple. Well, after I confronted her and said how disappointed I was, I took a step away from his family, and months after I was ready to move on for my kids' sake, and I had a conversation with the mother putting some boundaries. The Sil had a wedding in an island 2 months ago and I couldn't attend because I just gave birth to my second baby. My older kid went to the wedding and my husband barely sent me photos or updates of my own kid, The family of course never even texted anything. I texted the bride Sil and called her wishing her all good and I was happy for her. But then, I noticed his younger sister deleted me from Facebook, even though she acts as my best friend in person. She posts photos of my kids and when my husband asked why she did that she said it was for her own protection. She was engaging with her mom on the texts and egging her on. I feel like a nobody on this family. I don't care about her social media but I hate not seeing what it's being posted about my kids in case she does it, which she used to. I feel like I'm so left out and no matter what I do they look me different. She never acknowledged how the words were bad about me and my family, instead they try to gaslight me, and tomorrow she will be around for my husband's birthday and I'm so mad about her being so mean and selfish. Should I report her photos with my kids on Facebook? Comment. See, I'm an evil person. I would have printed copies or emailed them to myself, then blasted those conversations all over social media and tagging every family member, acquaintance, or civilian for that matter with the heading "See how my in-laws treat me." But that's me. I call this bullying, and your so is wrong for being a jerk and involving them in personal matters and allowing them to continue with this path. Who cares if you do full-on hair and makeup? Who does that harm? Sounds like jealousy to me. Also, your kids, your rules. In the US, many parents do not allow images on social media. If a child can't consent, then it shouldn't be used. It's their image and should have a say when they grow up. Just don't talk to these people anymore and tell your husband he is part of the problem. Insulting your mother, your culture, and your home of birth, I'd be packing. Your Mill is a demon but your so is trash and needs to grow up and detach himself from his mother's apron strings. What kind loser lets his family talk about his wife like that and still has the gall to call himself a good husband and father? Kids don't go where you don't go. Block them on all social media and tell your husband to grow a spine and get therapy. Did he marry you or his mom? Just leave. Your husband doesn't support you and has allowed you to be abused by his family and not done a damn thing to stop them. You are basically already a single mom, just take the kids and go. You deserve better. Next story 2. Don't mind me, I'm just the stand-in mom. So this has been a long time coming. My daughter recently turned 16 and both me and my husband are in our early 30s. As young parents we struggled a bit starting off, lived with my Mill for just over a year until finally getting out own apartment right before I turned 20. Considering this, my Mill and Sil have an odd attachment to my daughter, their only granddaughter/niece. We have done a few informal no contacts with them before but it never lasts very long. It is hard for me to put my foot down, although my husband oddly has no problem with it. So to get into it. Several years ago my daughter came home from a night away with Mill and Sil saying that they told her they raised her. Couldn't be further from the truth. I made it a point to ensure they babysat only when absolutely necessary and took her with me everywhere. I had very understanding friends. My mom had moved states by this point and my dad was a national truck driver. Not long after this incident, they scolded my daughter for some reason and refused to allow her to call me or her dad to get her. We got her a phone not long after this. She was 13. A year or two later my daughter cut her hair. She has a lot of it and all of it is very thick, and my Sil wrote her an ugly text ranting about it and calling her stupid, and Mill proceeded to threaten suicide if she cuts her hair again. 2 weeks ago, I had hoped that since they never called or came by for my daughter's birthday, that they would like to spend some time with us. All my Sil needed was her clothes washed though, so she took it upon herself to pack a bag and spend a Friday night at our house to wash a massive amount of laundry. At this point, my Sil gifted my daughter a picture that she drew where she had also written a note on the back saying, "To my beloved daughter, love mother." Granted, my daughter is close to the two of them, as close as one can be considering they only call or text when they need food or to wash clothes, but this was a vast overstep. I text my Sil, since she was gone by the time my daughter showed me, saying it was inappropriate, but she never responded. My Mill did though. Now, my daughter has been without her phone since March, so 4 months now. Both Mill and Sil say this is because we want to keep my daughter from them. Obviously not true. They can always call or text me or come by. I have told them this several times. In the message that I got from Mill, it states two things. One, we are too strict with my daughter. Believe me, her being grounded from her phone is entirely warranted. 2, it is none of my business what happens between Sil and my daughter. To be fair, they have no idea why my daughter's phone was taken away, but she's a teenager, so they should be able to guess. Now in the text, Mill painted a picture as if my daughter has been locked in a dungeon. If I knew how to attach screenshots of those messages, I definitely would, but she's had friends over and even went to a birthday party. We've gone out to eat, to the movies, to the arcade, and out of town. She just doesn't have her phone and she can't stay the night anywhere. We are working to rebuild trust. Some say that we should have cut contact a long time ago, some say we need to hash it out. My husband is game for either option, even suggested moving to get away from them. Any advice or constructive criticism would be appreciated. Comment. Mill and Sil are delusional, if not completely unstable emo. Your daughter might not like it, but it's your responsibility to limit contact with anyone who pollutes her mind with lies and uses a suicide threat to control her behavior. You probably don't even know the half of it. Plus, they're hypocrites. You invited them to her birthday party and they declined to attend. You certainly didn't restrict their access to her. My mother filled my son's head full of untrue nonsense, even calling me a bad mother. She abandoned me when I was 4 and took off to raise my bro. When she'd drop bro off for visits, she'd take off fast cause I'd be coming out to say hi. My half-sis is 5 years older than me and she did the same thing to her. I didn't talk to my son the first time she took him, made up some stuff, and he lived with her 4 years, and once he was a teen she started again and I didn't talk to him for almost a decade. I was 18 when I had him and needed help. She didn't help, she just came and got him. Best you're getting ahead of this. I don't want what happened to me happen to anyone else. We have a great relationship now and he said I was never a bad mother. I personally would have cut them out of the picture a long time ago. I wouldn't deal with it, not worth it. Family is family only when they are genuine and good people. Obviously that's not the case, so they might as well be anyone off the street by the way they're acting. I do not see or speak to family who has displayed toxic traits. On them, not me.